Hi Marsha, how you doing?
Good, how are you?
I am fine. It's quite rare to hear a fellow English accent on the other line when it comes to doing interviews.
I know, it feels lovely. And I'm in an SUV full of Americans. They're staring at me because I sound British. No, I'm on the way to Baltimore to do a show today.
Nice.
So,
Let's get into this new album. Everyone's talking about it.
Everyone?
What?
Really?
Yeah.
That's good. I'm glad that everyone's talking about
Marsha,
it.
don't.
I'll talk some more as of March 1st. And, yeah.
Come on, don't be humble. We've been waiting long enough, so you know there's been an anticipation for
Well,
it.
this is the thing. I've been waiting much longer than everybody else. So all this impatience and, what everyone else feels about, having to wait on my album. I've been waiting on my album longer. My mother longer than me. So there's a generation of people that have wanted to see this through for a very long time. But, with me signing to J Records at the end of 2009, I was recorded as far as the album where it is today and what you will hear as of March 1st. It was recorded about a year ago. It was finished, almost, I'd say 90% of it was done by the end of March of 2010. And then from there I did additional tracks which were Hope She Sees From You with a Basketball Player because it was funny.
Mm-hmm.
And a friend of mine went through a really bad breakup and I figured I'd write a song about it, and it was just a hilarious take on the emotion that you feel initially, the immediate reaction that no one speaks about. And I think as far as songwriting and my approach to songwriting, I've always wanted to give that honest moment that people overlook. So that was one of those records. And, between paperwork and making sure the producers get paid and, all that other stuff,
Right.
I have an album coming out March 1st, and it feels overnight to me now that it's actually a reality coming out. The process is I did a meeting with J Records December of 2009.
Yep.
Clearly, legal work and turning around contracts is another 3 months between attorneys. So that takes you into March, but in the interim, you record your album. And then Hope She Cheats On You came out May and was all over the radio for the whole summer, and Billboard charted off of a joke that I had, which became the most expensive joke ever. Like, oh man, that's good. The whole song is playing on mainstream radio. I was right there in between a Drake record and a Nicki Minaj record, right amongst the kids. I'd never had that kind of radio play before. And then come the end of the year, I do my album packaging shoot, or the summer of that year, and it's all completed. So I think when you work in musical years, as far as when Grammys are February, then you move on through March, and then before you know it, it's the BT Awards, and then it's the VMAs, and then it's right back around to the Grammys again. My years go by very, very quickly. And when legal work is involved and you're trying to get a project done through a major label that, yes, have other artists, not saying they're a priority over you, but when they've got their wheels in motion already, people already have record release dates. And I'm there as the newbie with a project that deserves the love, care, and attention that it needs. I didn't want to be thrown out to the wolves. It would have been very easily for me to release and record a record 2 years ago, 3 years ago even, just because, but I didn't want to do that. I'm a businesswoman first, and I want it done right. And the timing is everything, and the time is now.
Okay. Now, obviously, your latest video, Far Away, deals with issues that, the black community in general chooses to ignore. Tell me about deciding to not only make this a single, but also to make, in the actual visuals, the message to be conveyed as it was.
Well, when I wrote the record with Sterling Sims in 2008, I'd gone through a bad breakup with my boyfriend at the time. He'd lost a family member. Just Blaze, who produced the record, was in in turmoil in his life. And I kind of pick up on emotions in the studio. And the piece of music kind of spoke to me as far as where I wanted to take the song conceptually. I really wanted to speak out on everyone that had ever missed someone. I'd also had a friend around about that same time attempt to commit suicide. So in the song's content, especially in the bridge at the end, where I say, if I'd have known Sunday morning that you'd be gone, I never would have come home. And the cop's the one who told me that you were alone inside the empty room. And that was for my fear of having to find my best friend who decided to go and kill themselves because of that circumstance. So when I found out it was going to be a single, it would have been easy for me to cop out and make it a love song that, you know, every other R&B singer's made that video. It will start raining, I'll cry tears and hold my heart and look sad through the whole video. That video has been done before. So I wanted to approach this in a way that no one had ever had. I wanted to tell the story that no one ever would. And that wasn't a problem for me. And that was completely backed up by what I wanted to do, from record company support, from management support. My manager directed the video. Julius Evans III directed that video. And from networks alike who were aware of what video we were trying to shoot and whether or not it would be possible to give it the push that it deserves.
In effect, that's quite groundbreaking, because like visually I don't think anyone's ever really seen it on TV, you know, in actual musical format. But I wanted to also go on to the fact that anytime I speak to singers, you know, in London, in the UK, they always reference Floetry, but more so yourself as, you know, it's not popping in the UK, I'm going to go to America, because they see what you guys have done as visionaries. So is there any advice that you could give artists who feel that they're not getting their break in our own country and are looking to go to America, the big America, and try and break it?
Well, I started in the UK. That's first and foremost. I didn't just decide to come to America to make it happen. I was invited to do a show, and that's how that worked out. I just managed to find the right people to work with that worked for me. So I wouldn't tell anyone not to do it, but I didn't seek that out as something that I felt important to be successful. I would say that with America, it is a lot bigger, and I guess there's more chance of that, as you can just be successful in Atlanta alone and have a successful career. In London, if you don't make it in London, you might make it in Manchester, but it wouldn't be as big as, you know, not making it in Philly, but you made it in DC. Yeah. It's just a size difference over here. But relationships are everything, and I just managed to create the relationships that I did the year 2000 when I was invited to do a show in both Atlanta and then Philadelphia through a friend of mine that was from London playing basketball over here in New Jersey, who had a tape cassette of a performance I did at Jazz Cafe.
Wow.
People were like, oh, I want to hear that girl sing. I want to hear what this is. And that just happened to work out. It wasn't something that was planned. It was really an open invitation, free at that. Who turns down a free flight to Atlanta or to Philly? And I've just been kind of rolling with it ever since and built the relationships that I've had since 2000 to now, since 2011.
Okay, now Lauryn Hill originally recorded a version of Lose Myself. The version that you have on the album, how does it differ?
Well, Lauryn Hill's version was catered for that soundtrack. She had that California Dreamin', LA Beach feel on there to cater for what the movie was, surfs up. But what I did connect with were her lyrics. Lauryn Hill was one of the most prolific songwriters of our time, and it was one of those songs that I've always loved, always been interested in, and I felt if I'd ever had the opportunity to bless a song that Lauryn Hill ever did, I'd want to put my spin on it with her blessing, which I did, and I'm thankful that it's a part of this album. And being I'm a songwriter myself, it was just a respect thing for me. I just wanted to give back for things that have influenced me for a very long time. I've looked up to her for a very, very long time, and I felt it only right for my first album to give that back.
Right. Now, looking at the track listing of the album, it seems like it's very deep conceptually. The one that stuck out to me is Sour Times. Now, I haven't heard it, but could you give me a brief insight to what that track is about?
Sour Times is actually a cover song. It's a Portishead cover.
Okay.
And being I'm a UK girl, the Portishead has been one of my favorite groups for a very long time. The sample that they use in that record is from one of my favorite composers ever, Lalo Schifrin.
Right.
Who scored, Steve McQueen, Bullet, and Mission Impossible. And I remember hearing that Portishead record, and I was like, this is one of the best songs I've ever heard in my life. And I got in the studio, got the samples, chopped it up, made the beat, and recreated that feel. And once again, with their blessing, I was able to recreate. They're two of the only songs on there that are covers and co-written. Right. So, I mean, written by other people. Okay. The other co-writers are Alicia Keys on With You and Sterling Sims on Far Away. I mean, I'm just so thankful that the fans are there and ready to listen to what I've been up to my entire life. You know, this is the first album, so I think every emotion that I ever wanted to convey is right there for all to hear. I'm a Leo. I'm very hard on, showing my emotions at all times. I wear my heart on my sleeve, and I can't help that. And I think I really do that on this album.
All right. Marsha, all the best, and thank you for your time, and good luck with the album.
Thank you.
Okay, you take care.